The iPhone 6 and 6 Plus look exactly the same as the succeeding iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, but I'm willing to bet the phones are probably more different than you'd first assume. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be taking a look at the iPhone 6 and 6s. How do they hold up all these years later, and how do they compare? The iPhone 6 and 6 Plus came out in 2014 and are actually the best-selling smartphones ever, with over 220 million units shipped. However, that doesn't mean the phone is perfect. It was built with a low-grade aluminum and was susceptible to bending, which would lead to touch disease and various other problems. The iPhone 6s and 6s Plus came out a year later and aimed to fix the problems the iPhone 6 brought, and they did with a much more durable design. As well as this, we got some majorly upgraded internals, especially in the processing power and camera. Now, to give you all the answer right away, if you are looking to buy one of these phones, the 6S is a much better choice. It's just a massively better phone in every possible way, and it's really not that much more expensive. If you want to see how it holds up against other iPhones, I'll have some links in the description to other comparisons, as well as an individual review on both phones. But for those who want some more details about these phones, let's get right into this. The iPhone 6S is what the 6 should have been. The 6 was just poorly built, while the 6S is an absolute unit. It's a bit thicker and heavier, but trust me when I say it's 100% worth it for the added comfort of knowing it won't bend in your pocket. Okay, moving on from durability, let's look at the actual similarities between the phones because there are quite a few, and then we'll of course look at the differences. Firstly, the 6 and 6S look practically identical, with the only visible difference being the S logo on the 6S as well as the rose gold color that you can only find on the 6S. Both have headphone jacks, lightning ports, a home button, basically identical displays, practically the same battery life, and I think that's about it. Where things have changed is basically everywhere else. To prepare for writing my script, I was going through old articles on the 6S, and I was surprised to see a lot of journalists at the time couldn't seem to understand how much improvements the 6S actually brought. I think this often happens with S-line upgrades, as people have the inability to look at the big picture. The 6S has aged much better than the iPhone 6 when it comes to nearly everything, and was truly a great upgrade, especially for just an S-line phone. The big name feature it brought was 3D Touch. Basically, if you press on the screen with more physical force, it can reveal extra options for you. This was cool and is still used by iPhones today minus the XR, but is by no means a discerning factor to get the 6S over the 6. The 6S brings second generation Touch ID, and with that you're able to unlock your phone much faster, which is great. Where things start to get noticeably better is in the camera. We jumped from 8 megapixels in the iPhone 6 to 12 megapixels in the 6S, and you can tell. Pictures look much sharper and consistently better on the latter, and I'd say while the 6 looks okay, it isn't ideal for a smartphone camera anymore. We also have live photos on the 6S, which allows you to record a couple seconds at the same time while taking a picture. Typically this is an unnecessary feature, so you can leave it off, but there are some times where you might find it useful, especially if you're taking a picture of a kid or maybe a moving object. The selfie camera has been highly improved with the 6S, with a jump from 1.2 megapixels to 5 megapixels. Selfies on it still don't look that good in my opinion, but they're significantly better than on the 6, and if you're into that type of thing, the 6S is the much better choice. And for the record, the iPhone 7 and better also have a big jump over the 6S, so again, if you're really into selfies, you should actually probably go newer than the 6S. Video recording is also much better on the 6S with 4K shooting capabilities as opposed to only 1080p on the 6. 4K on the 6S still looks pretty good even today, and as you can see by the footage on the screen, it looks sharper and just better overall. It's also worth mentioning that the Plus model phones both have optical image stabilization, so if on the 6 side right now it looks more stable, that's why. If I had a 6S Plus to test, you'd see similar results, but with that I think we're done looking at the cameras. Long story short, the 6S destroys the 6 in every single way possible. The most important thing we got with the 6S was the A9 processor and double the RAM of the previous generation. The 6S is just so much faster than the A8 in the iPhone 6. It's not even a competition. This was the phone that kind of started Apple pulling ahead of other smartphone manufacturers in terms of pure power. It's a beast. In real life use on iOS 12, while the 6 is usable, the 6S feels much more fluid and fast, and if you have a good battery in there, it'll perform very well to the point where it definitely will not feel like you're using a 3-year-old phone. The 6 on the other hand is starting to show its age, and it's safe to say you aren't going to have the most pleasant experience on it possible. But let's look at value because that's important. You may be hard pressed to still find an iPhone 6 new nowadays, but you'll probably be able to pick up a 6S new on contract if you really want to. However, I think the best way to buy either of these phones is getting one used or refurbished online with a site like Craigslist or eBay. On eBay.com, we can find the iPhone 6, typically going for around $150, which is an okay deal, but the 6S is priced much better at around $200. It's a little bit higher, but you're getting a much better phone. And also keep in mind you shouldn't buy a 16GB iPhone ever. Try to find one that's 32 gigs or higher. Trust me when I say you'll appreciate the extra space very quickly. So I would obviously recommend getting the 6S over the 6. It's a lot better of a phone, and it's not even much more money. Mind you, if you own an iPhone 6 right now, you're probably doing okay, although you might need your battery replaced, as without doing that, it could slow down your phone. The iPhone 6 should get support until about late 2020, while the 6S should be supported until 2021 or 2022. If you're thinking of upgrading to the iPhone 6, the 6S is a good budget option and is a bit of an upgrade, but I'd say you should really consider going up to the iPhone 8, one of the best valued iPhones out right now. However, that's just my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, and of course I'll leave reviews in the description below. But anyways, long story short, I'd take the 6S over the iPhone 6 any day. It's aged much better, and it's actually at a great price point right now online, so I'd go for it if you're thinking about picking one up. That being said, I'm pretty much done here. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. You can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram if you so desire, links below. And with that all being said, I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.